Everyone, today I'm going to show you how to install a dishwasher. There used to be one in here before. This is a used dishwasher, but it really doesn't matter whether it's new or used. It's pretty much the same to get it installed. And so this is a 3/8 line. It's a copper line, and I'm going to connect this into the hot water side. Okay, and then we have the drain line, which is going to go to the gap valve, right? And so the gap valve allows the drainage of the bottom of the dishwasher and doesn't allow water to drain back in to the bottom of the dishwasher. If you're not going to use a gap valve, you have to loop this thing higher than where it's going to drain into. So whether it's into your drain pipe or whether it's into the disposal, it has to be looped and then back down. So you're going to get a curve that goes up from the dishwasher, looped up, and then down into your garbage disposal. Okay, and that's without the gap valve. Okay, so this is your gap valve, and this allows the water to be drained completely and doesn't allow the water to go back into the dishwasher that pools at the bottom. So I bought this neat little valve adapter that you're not going to have to remove your water supply valve. And so you just got to make sure that whatever line comes up, which usually is about 3/8, and this, your hot water side comes up to your hot side on your faucet, right? So if you have a single valve like this, sometimes if you don't want your hot water side going back into your cold water side, do not touch this. Do not put it in the middle, because it will go from cold side into your hot side. And because it's not a single valve where you can turn this off, you know that you're not getting back anything back there, right? Now, if you're going to have to remove the valve, that's when you have to concern yourself with this, right? So I'm using this adapter and I'm shutting it off at the valve. So I don't have to worry about whether my faucet's single valve or not. Okay, so let's get to that. Okay, now this is a rental property, and so what I've done is I bored a hole out through there. Now this is siding that I guess the handyman had put in, and so it is kind of like particle board, and it's pretty soft. That's why you see it kind of jagged. Anyway, so I'm going to run my drain line and water line through there, both copper and the ribbed white one. Okay, and then we're going to connect under the sink. Okay, so here you can see the hole that was bored out back in the corner. And then you see the valve. So this, I'm just going to take this supply line off that goes up to the faucet, right? And so you want to make sure that that valve at the faucet isn't opened or in the center, because the cold side will come out of this side here. Okay, so you want to be, let's see. So you want to be careful when you take this off that nobody opens that faucet up on top to use the cold water side for whatever reason. Okay, so we're going to do that, and then of course we're going to go up on top. Let's see. Okay, so there's the gap valve right there, the blue, and that's where the white one's going to get connected. So I'm just going to crimp that white rubber part down on that, and we're set. And then you've got your outlet there. You've got the outlet here. So the bottom is always hot, supposedly, right? Because you should be able to flip this disposal on with the switch. Okay, and so we want the power on all the time, so we're going to connect it on the bottom of this outlet. Okay. Okay, so there's the hole that I bored out to bring that copper line and drain line back in. Then we're going to connect, plug it in. Now the bottom of this outlet should always be hot. The top one works off the switch, and that one is for the disposal. Okay. All right. So then the drain line will get, see that blue? That's the gap valve. So that's where my drain line will go into. That won't allow water to back into my dishwasher and pool at the bottom. That's a no-no. Okay, now this is the hot side. That's the side that's going to get connected to your dishwasher. Always is a hot side. Now, when I disconnect this line, I don't want that, the single valve faucet up top in the middle needs to stay on the hot side, because that water will circulate from cold to hot and come all over me and make a mess here. Okay, so anyway, we don't want that water coming back through the valve. So make sure that the valve handle is to the left side and turned off. Okay, and don't allow anybody to come up and use that faucet while you're working down below. All right, let's get this connected. Okay, that's the position that you want your faucet up on top, all the way to the left, and turned off. If you didn't bring this up in the middle, you're going to get looped from cold side to hot side, because it shares that little valve. It's a ball that runs on two ports, and so once it gets turned, there's nothing stopping it. Okay, now you're in warm water, so warm water, you're going to get hot and cold same place, and so they kind of run into each other and force each other out through the spout. So you want to make sure this is to the left and off. Don't let anybody come near it. Okay. Okay, so the next thing we're going to do is we're going to push this dishwasher into place, and then we're going to snake this copper line and the rib line through that hole that I bored out, and then we're going to connect. We also have to bring that electric line through there. So that hole's wide enough to receive all of this stuff. Okay, there's a couple of things I want to mention about these. You're going to put this electric cord in there first. So that way, because I made that hole just large enough to get this black a connector through that hole. And so the way it'll go through is just like that. Okay, you're not going to be able to get these through. You're not going to be able to get them through just like that. So cord first. And once you get your drain line in, then you can snake your copper line through, because there's enough room for both of those. Okay. And the other thing I wanted to mention was there's a blanket here, and this goes over the top. Of course, it acts like a sound deadener, you know, and it quiets everything down. Now the toe kick also has insulation on the inside of it, so this thing should be fairly quiet, right? And then there's a hole here, right? So that pretty much gets set like that, and then this side it's just like that, and so that should do it. And I'll snake those 3 items through there and we'll connect. Okay, so there's your 3 lines: power supply, copper, and drain line. Okay, so it fit perfect. Okay, now on the other side, you can see where they came through. So I put the power line first, drain line, and then the copper line. And all that does, I mean, you can make a bigger hole and put them all in together if you wanted, but I'm trying to keep the hole as minimal as I can. So next thing to do is connect. All right, it's kind of tricky. So as you push this dishwasher back into place, you want to grab these and pull them out into this cabinet so you have enough to reach to wherever you need to go. All right. And so you don't want to kink anything as you're doing it. So just, slowly, patiently, and get them through. Because you got to make sure that this dishwasher also fits as far back as it can go, so you can put your screws up into the bottom of your cabinet, which is underneath here, to hold it in place and to keep it from moving around, right? So screw here and screw here, while it's open. Okay. Okay, I've got that faucet supply, the water supply valve turned off, but you can see it's dripping a little bit. Now, if you were turning this, if you would turn this to the middle, I'm going to get water through. And of course, it's going to go into the hot side. Okay. So I know it's going to leak down here a little bit, and so I placed a towel down here, because once I take that off, I know it's going to start to drip on me. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to connect my dishwasher first, and I have the luxury of having a compression nut on the end of this, so that's going to help with speed. So I'm going to do my dishwasher line. I'm going to take my water line off, connect that real quick, and at the same time start putting this on there. It's going to be kind of hairy-carry, but that's what we're going to do. Okay, hopefully you can see what's going on there. Okay, so we're going to connect our water line to this adapter. Okay, so this is your adapter. We're going to have the faucet water line come straight down the way it is now. I'm going to put my dishwasher line in through the side, and then this is going to go down on top of the supply line. So this is a pretty neat setup. These are only like $7. I picked this one up at the local Home Depot, right? And so this is a fitting here. And so that's pretty much it. So once I get it up there, I don't want to tighten it too tight, because I want to be able to maneuver it right into position. And so I'm going to take the supply line down, but I'm going to have to bend this. Now that's the tricky part, because I'm going to have to bend it to get it back up here, right? And so I need to be careful. I can disconnect the dishwasher, and I don't want to kink this, right? And so I want to baby it just like that, right? Okay. So I can shove this back out, because I have plenty of room behind the dishwasher, and then bring this up, right? And so we're going to do, bend it some more. Just about there. Just like that. Okay, so let's, now when I push that dishwasher back in there, I'll bend that line in behind it, just like you would a fridge, to get that fridge back into its cubicle, right? Okay, and so now this is the tricky part, because I know I'm going to leak, and I got this heavy towel here. I'll get this out of the way. And we'll take this off. Okay. Here we go. So we're going to get a little bit of water. Yep. Not too bad. I'll get that on there. Okay, got that started. And And we'll put this one back up there. Okay, there you go. And I've been doing it for a while, so okay, so that's tight. Get this one on there. I guess I could have used a little smaller crescent wrench or adjustable wrench. Okay. I want to get that one really snug because that's the one that will leak. Okay. All right. Perfect. Okay, so everything's tight, right? So let's open that thing up and see where we're at. You can hear the water on top. And it's flowing pretty good. Now sometimes when you loosen these old pipes, you knock stuff around, and then you got to take this aerator off and take all that crud out of there that you broke loose. Deposits, sand, all that crap. Okay. So anyway, this one looks like it's running pretty good. And so I think what we're going to do is wait a few minutes and check the fittings down below, and if they look dry, then we're going to give that dishwasher a try before I put it in, just in case it's leaking somewhere else. Okay, so it didn't go too bad, so I want to dry all this stuff here. Pretty dry. Okay, so what I'm going to do is put a piece of paper towel underneath there, and that'll tell me if I'm leaking. Okay, so I stuck this paper towel down here, and it's right below the faucet, so if I get any leaks here, it'll tell me right away. I'm going to wait a couple, 2-3 minutes and see how it goes. Okay, so the towel looks pretty good, dry. We've got it plugged in. You can hear it running. I'm going to give it a test run. We got the air gap connected. So run a cycle, and everything checks out. We'll set it in place and done. So we had the dishwasher in, ran it through the cycle, and everything works perfect. And we have our set screws here, like I was telling you. So this thing isn't going anywhere. It's level, solid. All right. And so down here, we have our adapter hooked up. And man, I'm telling you, that saved a ton of time and just back-breaking labor, you know. So turn the valve off, connect your water line to the dishwasher, reconnect your faucet line, and mount it back on your supply valve. And as far as your water, you're off and running. Then, of course, make sure that you plug it into constant power, the lower part of that outlet underneath the sink. And then you have your gap valve connected, right? And so if that gap valve leaks anywhere and spews out of those little ports here, then that means that your line from this gap valve to your disposal is obstructed somehow, because that's going to be your telltale sign. If you don't get anything out of there, you're running fine, and it should be draining through that line. Let's see if I can get this right. Okay, so this is from your gap valve, and that goes into your disposal. And if that's not plugged, then it's not going to leak at the gap valve, like I said, and you're off and running, and you're set. All right, guys, I want to add one more thing. I was telling you about that gap valve, and so I noticed it was kind of leaking out the ports, and that told me that the drainage was slow, right? And so I don't know who put the dishwasher in before. Actually, there wasn't a dishwasher, but the disposal that they put in looks fairly new. And so I guess because they weren't using a dishwasher, there's a plug in here, and you've got to knock that out. There's a tab in here, and it's meant to be knocked out. So just go around and tap on it lightly around the edges on the inside here. Stick a screwdriver in there and you can feel it. It stops you. So just gently tap on that screwdriver around the edge of that tab in there and it'll pop out. So go from inside the sink and down through and fish that thing out. You don't want that thing rattling around in there, right? So you reconnect your pipe. And tighten that down, and you're back in business. Guys, there's that little tab I was telling you about that you have to knock out inside that, the inlet to the disposal from the air gap from dishwasher, okay? So I fished it out. So there you have it.